Hi everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful time. Today I'm going to share my experience of using this Galian Audio TS-A75 stereo power amplifier that I've been using in my system for almost like 3-4 months now. TS-A75 is class AB design with 75 watts at 8 ohm and 100 watts at 4 ohm load power delivery that it can put out. It has very good power supply built inside. Power supply capacitors and transformers are stacked on top of each other, more than adequate power supply that it can offer for the power that it can put out, so which will give you very good stable current output no matter what the dynamic range or type of the music you play with or type of the speakers, right? So that's the purpose of those power supply. So price is $1,495 that currently you can buy directly from Galian Audio. Power supply is perfectly designed. So how about idle noise, right? If you are really sensitive to transformer noise like I do, you may notice slight transformer noise when you get closer. Otherwise, you will not hear anything at all. Another thing is TS-A75 doesn't have any pop control, meaning while the power is on, please don't do unplugging and plugging in with either RCA or balanced connections. So you want to be very careful with that. Make sure power amplifier is off while you doing the connection. Even when you turn it on, if you have relay based preamplifier stage, you might want to turn this Galian TS-A75 at last after your relay based preamplifier stage is fully functions and stable state, right? Like I have Schiit Audio Freya Plus or this Eversolo DMB-A8. Both of them have a relay type power supply and startup mode that it will cycle through, so you may hear the pop sound and a little bit of tiny bit of noise if you have this TS-A75 on. So that is a friendly reminder, nothing wrong with it. Other than that, there is no other noise that I can notice. I started using it with Schiit Audio Freya Plus and this Galian TS-A75 combination. What I notice is how this TS-A75 is transparent in sound. So I was using Apos Audio Raise 6 SN7 tubes in that Freya Plus gain stage. It's slightly too transparent than I would like, so I end up going back to stock JJ6 SN7 tubes on Freya Plus to match with this Galian A75 in terms of synergy wise. I also tried with passive preamplifier, both XLR and RCA cables connected. I tried both and there is no difference in sound quality. XLR cable will always give you better benefits in noise control and rejecting the interference. So, but if you only have RCA output with preamplifier stage, it should not matter in terms of sound quality. And another thing that I tried is the add in the subwoofer. These preamplifier stage that I use, Freya Plus or this Eversolo DMB-A8, they all have pre-outputs, but the gain is not enough for my active Martin Logan subwoofer, so I always want to have more gain. So I end up connecting directly to Galian TS-A75 using Canary 4S8 cable. So there is a quad cable. It has 4 different color cables that I connected. Speaker high level input on the subwoofer to this Galian speaker terminals, and it doesn't overheat or overload without any issue. So that is I thoroughly tested. I was using that for like 2 months with active subwoofer and using high level input on subwoofer side. So that totally worked. When I pair with these two speakers, right? Pioneer TED Design S1EX towers and JBL L100 Classic 75th Limited Edition. What I noticed was synergy wise, it worked really well with this S1EX towers, but when I pair with this JBL L100 Classic 75th, it sounded nice, but this one is 4 ohm speaker. Although this DSA 75 is rated for 4 ohm 100-watt power output, when I pair it, bass control is slightly not as good as what I'm used to in terms of control and punchiness wise. But $1,495, I mean, this is one of the very good sounding power amplifier that you can have, because it can give you very wide sound, transparent and precise balanced sound that it can deliver. It should pair really well with most of the pre-decks or pre-stages that you might want to pair with. This DSA 75 have tube amp kind of sound quality. So when I switch it over to this S1EX towers, it have nice cohesiveness and really nice depth and skillful sound that it can produce. But what I can notice is bass control is slightly loose and it kind of more towards like a tube amp kind of bass control. So mid-range is clean and very precise mid-range quality, very clear and neutral sound with nice detail that it can deliver. So high frequency extension is very well extended. One thing that really stand out is this amplifier will not get bright in terms of high frequency sound reproduction. So that is very beneficial if you are very sensitive to bright side or sound signature like I am. And next thing is low level listening. Usually I listen around 50-55 dB range. So that kind of loudness level, it can produce clean and precise sound. So in terms of loudness wise, it doesn't struggle. I can push it up to 95-98 dB range, no problem. But if you pushed it up to above 90 dB range, it also, the background noises also rises if you are sensitive to it. I know some of you is gonna ask me how would it compare to my reference Acuphase E4000 or Schiit Audio AGR mono blocks, right? I haven't had chance to compare it back to back with my AGR mono blocks. I will do that, but I did compare it back to back with Schiit Audio Vida 2. So I will comment on that later. If I compare it back to back with my Acuphase E4000, I can notice it right away in terms of wider and deeper soundscape and more precise stereo image with much cleaner and quieter background that I can hear with Acuphase E4000. So that's where the differences are. Plus, bass control and immediacy is totally different. E4000 totally shows the the difference in price, right? That is obvious. The next thing is I compare it back to back with Vida 2 from Schiit Audio. So Vida 2 is 100 watts 8 ohm power amplifier, so which is very nice sounding power amplifier as well. So size is half of the size of this DSA 75, and so the circuitry and design, everything combined, right? Power supply and everything, build quality, I will have to give it to this DSA 75, as well as different price point, right? This one is almost $1,500. Schiit Audio Vida 2 is $800 price range. when I compare it back to back, in terms of micro detail and cleanliness and clarity and stereo image, this TS-A75 is totally shows that delivery with nice quality sound. But the Vida 2 is not lacking behind either, especially in terms of depth and skillful sound that it can produce. So the immediacy and like a punchiness, slightly different kind of offering. Vida 2 is warmer side of neutral sound. So if you like that kind of sound quality, the Vida 2 may be better choice. But if you want a little bit more clearer and cleaner and more precise stereo image and those kind of sound, this TS-A75 is better choice, but totally different in price. So Vida 2, let's say $800 is not too shabby compared to this TS-A75. But when you push it, TS-A75 will give you whole new level of performance in sound quality. But power delivery, I kind of want more, right? It's different than a true power delivery when it's come to these kind of solid state design. I think they kind of voiced it like a true kind of sound as well, especially in the lower end delivery. I kind of want slightly more punchier and slightly more definition to it for my taste. For $1,495 that you can get is very reasonably priced, and build quality is very nice as I shown here. It has very cleanly built quality. So only thing that I have to complain is the tiny, equipment footers that they have. It's like a little round thing that they have. So I put my own that isolation magnet footer. So, I mean, after I try all that, right, doesn't matter DACs or anything that I pair with, if you use passive preamplifier, then you might get a slightly better in immediacy and a little bit more punchier sound. But overall, sound is clean, neutral, and precise sound with good quality all over the frequency range, other than tiny bit of aforementioned bass quality and those kind of stuff. Other than that, I have no complaint at all. So this Guardian TS-A75 is price is right, performance is very good, sound quality that it can show for. Highly recommended, my friend. Thank you for watching and happy listening.
Did you say I've got a lot to learn? Well, don't think I'm trying not to learn. Since this is the perfect spot to learn, so teach me tonight. Starting with the ABC of it. teacher stand so near